Before we continue, we must honor the tradition.
Touch tips.
Touch tips. Yep.
So first, touch tips.
Touch tips and begin.
Well, yeah, and
Clink.
then wine.
Ooh, yeah.
Wine. Welcome to another episode of the Couch Gambit podcast. I'm in a different chair. Couch.
You're yes.
He is in my chair.
And I'm now Asian.
No. Now, the reason for this, it's because I was too comfortable to move. So give us the play-by-play on the first scene.
Yeah, so we open with the scene of Damon having yet another dream in the creepy houses of Harrenhal. So we do see young Rhaenyra again, which again, I'm totally a big fan of.
Oh, yeah.
I really like this section of the scene, but there's one line that bothers me a little bit. And this is going to be a theme through this episode because I think this episode is good.
Sure, yeah.
I think this episode is great.
Yeah.
In the second half. The first half, there's some problems. The first problem I want to get into is Rhaenyra walks up to him, and the first thing that we can verbally hear from her is she says, "You made me," which was not the case. Daemon did not make Rhaenyra. Daemon did not create Rhaenyra, which I think is the actual line. That was not what happened. I don't agree with that line.
Maybe it's not supposed to be accurate because this is his dream. Daemon wants the throne, right?
Right.
And maybe he's trying to, since he's getting the throne through her, he has a hand in some of her decisions. Maybe.
And maybe this is some of his guilt coming through because obviously based on the last episode, we do see that he has major guilt on some of the actions that he did. Moving a little bit forward, the next line I think is fine. When she tells him, what is it? Your brother loved me more than he loved you.
Yeah. Daemon has always, I think, struggled to receive the love of his brother.
Yes.
Right? Which is so sad. Because I think the only thing that Daemon wanted more than the throne was his big brother's love.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He's still a psychopath. I feel for the man.
It does. I mean, it brings him down to earth. If you remember in the season 1, when he was at the battle of Crab King or whatever, that battle, he got word from his brother that his brother was going to send reinforcements to help him. But that was a time where he felt like he needed to prove himself. And so his reaction was, beat the crap out of the messenger that sent the brother. So you think that in your mind, oh, Daemon's kind of a one-dimensional guy. He just wants all the glory. But as soon as he gets back to King's Landing, he gives his brother his crown and calls him the one true king. So we know that his love for his brother is complex and that he has a tendency to lash out violently, which is proof when he cuts young Rhaenyra's head off, which was kind of solid.
And
which
also,
is pretty cool.
What I find really interesting, I think Daemon, for him, it's it just proves that from his reaction that he loves Viserys more than he loves Rhaenyra.
It's definitely a different love because I feel like a lot of the time Daemon viewed Rhaenyra as an object to anger Viserys. And a lot, especially when he took her to the brothel and he didn't sleep with her, in that moment, he probably felt guilty that he was doing that to Rhaenyra because he was using her in that moment to piss off Viserys. So the scene with Rhaenys and the Sea Snake and Alan, I will say, of all the names in the House of Dragon TV show we've gotten so far, we've gotten Rhaenys, we've gotten Corlys, we've gotten Rhaenyra, we've gotten Viserys, we've gotten very majestic, noble names. We got Alan.
Well, to be fair, George R. R. Martin also named, I think, an entire family off of, what was it? Sesame Street?
Rover Tully, which we do see.
Yeah. Oh, God. Hey, look, he can have fun with it, all right? I respect it.
Oh, yeah.
Look, it's hard to come up with a shit ton of names, hence why some of them get repeated.
I mean, I think it's fair. I think there's an Elmo in this universe.
What?
I'm not kidding.
I didn't even know that.
I don't know the last name, but I know there's someone named Elmo in this universe, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Oh, George.
It's
George. What, you're going to tell me there's a Kermit next?
Yeah. I'm not even joking. You actually said it correctly. There actually is a Kermit.
I knew there were some characters named off of the Muppets. I didn't realize there were that many.
I'm actually shocked that you predicted the one. Yeah, there's actually a Kermit. There's an Elmo, there's a Kermit, and there's a Grover. I do like I was a little not turned off, but taken aback by the wording of handsome. It's comely. And I didn't realize, like, that happens a couple times in this episode where, like, the dyslexia in me had to actually look up, like, what was the term for this word? It
Poor guy. Poor guy. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You know what's great about being a failed English major? I don't need to look up words as much.
That's pretty good.
At least as much. There's still gonna be there's gonna be those few where I'm like, what the fuck does this mean?
Yeah.
When she first time seeing Alan, oh, you can tell he's like, oh shit.
Yep.
Oh shit.
What did I do wrong?
Oh fuck. And Renee's, I love her approach to it. She's like, I'm not gonna blame his birth on him.
Yeah.
It's not his. That's not his bad. It's my stupid husband's doing.
Yeah.
I should burn him.
I think he would take her words to heart because they are one of the few loving couples.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they seem to have a genuinely healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Other than Viserys and his wife, they're pretty much the only ones that have, like, this is pretty normal. This is fine.
Are you talking about Viserys and his first wife?
His first wife, no. Yeah. Allison, no, that's different.
The one he had her stomach cut open, and then he lost both her and the child.
Okay, well,
I know.
Either way,
I know.
taking that out of the equation. Like, before that, it seemed like they had a pretty
and,
normal marriage.
She's like, yeah, don't worry, honey. It's all going to be fine.
Okay, well,
and then she's
look here.
crying for Viserys to stop this as she's fucking stabbed, and then fucking she's gutted.
Before that, it seemed pretty normal.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Like, you know what I mean.
Let's just stick with Corlys and Rhaenys being like the best couple.
You know, Daemon and Rhaenyra are pretty tight. You know what? I gotta stop. So the next scene. So Alicent drinks the abortion juice. I did skip this one part. It is obvious that she is trying to reread the histories, and I didn't quite catch this on my first time, but on the second viewing, I kind of realized that Alicent was trying to find a point in time where, like, okay, did Aegon say this like at some point in the history? I assume that's what she's
looking for the prophecy that Rhaenyra mentioned. Yeah.
I do believe that she's trying to be vindicated in her thoughts. Like, yeah, this isn't in the history books. Like, there's no way I would have known. There's no way.
But deep down, she knows.
Yeah, because we do see, just skip ahead in a scene later in the episode when she meets Lionel Strong. Is that his name? The Cripple Strong. The worst Strong. Larys, my bad. Larys Strong. When she's talking to him, she very much seems to like, you know what? We're here. I don't care anymore. Even in her actions, even in her lines, it's very clear that she has resigned herself to her position. She's like, we're screwed anyway. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
The significance of Viserys' wants and desires died with him, and there's nothing I can do.
Where's his, like, obsession with feet? I thought they were going to bring it back up, honestly.
Yeah.
They haven't yet. Like, did they just decide to drop it because... Did some people complain like, yeah, what the fuck? I didn't need that. I wonder if the showrunners are like maybe caved or something, or if they're just saving it for the climax.
Well, it is a climax. I will say I think they're saving it because that was definitely the back of my head the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, is the feet gonna come out? Does he want to see a pinky toe? What's going on?
But no, I love the conversation between him and Alicent. How basically Alicent is like trying to lie to Larys. Fucking fails miserably, by the way.
She left the abortion juice out.
Yeah, and like Larys, he just looks at it. I was like, I see. Like, it shows Larys' like his philosophy. It shows how smart he is, how perceptive he can be. I love how he's basically like, yes, Kristen Cole. You must be very worried about him. And I'm just like, yes, he knows. He definitely knows.
Yeah.
And I love Larys. And he's just fucking with the queen. It seems it's kind of like a small thing, but I also kind of like this. Basically, when she was talking about how her husband, Viserys' death, and then the tragedy after that has affected her or whatever, why she's not been herself. And Larys' response like, I did not realize that you returned our king's love for history, as he looks at the fucking book. And I'm just like, oh my God, Larys. That's so good. That's so good. I love this character when he's not being weird.
So I'm going to combine two scenes again because they kind of go hand in hand. The council scene in the Black's room with Rhaenyra's council and when Rhaenyra returns to her council. Here's one of the scenes I have a problem with. The way the scene is framed. They're trying to vilify the council because the council is not giving Rhaenyra the trust that she deserves. they're not giving her ample enough time to return from her mission, and they're trying to plan for the future without her. That's the way the scene is framed.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that. The council's right. The council is 100% right. And despite one of my favorite characters, Rhaenys, being in the scene and trying to coax the council into a positive decision or a positive viewing of Rhaenyra, and I don't think what Rhaenyra is doing is entirely bad, but the council is correct. There is an army that is marching closer and closer and closer towards them. They don't have an army themselves that is massed together. They don't have any word from Daemon. So they're really just sitting ducks, just waiting there for their queen, who didn't tell them that she was leaving, to get back. So their anger is justifiable. And so when Corlys walks in the room...
What a weird fucking thing for him to say.
It's a weird thing for him to say, because they're arguing with Rhaenys and Baela and Rhaenyra's first son. They're arguing with them, and they're justifiably right, and then Corlys walks in, and he says, is there nothing better to do than to
vie for power and argue and vie for power? Which I'm like, what do you mean vie for power?
No one's vying for power. They're all frustrated.
Can't you tell the difference between, I don't know, actual concern versus people actually being hungry for power and wanting to undermine Rhaenyra?
Right.
Like, sure, there are times when the council are actually like undermining Rhaenyra, but in this instant, like suddenly their queen is gone again.
Yeah.
Without any word as to why.
No.
And they are her counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are they supposed to make any informed decisions when she's not around?
Yeah. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. When Rhaenyra returns to Dragonstone, here's my problem with Rhaenyra. That's not a huge problem now, but might have huge implications later on, especially where the story needs to go. Rhaenyra right now does not have a lot of agency. I don't think that Rhaenyra has to be the exact same character as she is in the books. In the books, she is a lot more decisive and, in many ways, a lot more cruel in the books. Now, they are going for the more sympathetic route with her in the show. And I like that in many ways and in many scenes. And I think that the actress portraying her is doing a phenomenal job with this material. But the problem with that is when you take away certain aspects of the character from the books, you're taking away a lot of her decision-making that could portray her in a more negative light. And because of that, you're taking away some of the character's agency and a lot of what makes Rhaenyra very interesting in the books. Compare this, for example. Daemon is a very brash character. He is decisive and he is cunning, but he's also very brash. And then makes him very interesting because he's making lots of decisions. And a lot of the things that happen in season 1 and season 2, according to Daemon, they're very interesting decisions. They're very discussion-worthy decisions because they inform who his character is and they mold him over time. Rhaenyra is starting to become more of a passive character because, granted, she wants to pursue the most peaceful angle possible, but taking away her more cruel, I would say diverse decisions, I feel like is taking things away from the character. And I think that going forward, I think Rhaenyra needs to become a more active member of the story, and she needs to start making more of those hard decisions where she's not the most morally righteous in the room. She has to be, especially where this story is going, she has to make a lot of those more morally gray decisions if her character is going to continue to grow and evolve and become more interesting over time.
Aegon with his council. I fucking love this scene. I love everything about it. It's so fucking good. Aegon throws a hissy fit.
Yep.
I want Harrenhal. I want it. I want it. I want it. And Larys is like, no. And Aegon's like, but why? I want it. It's like, so you'll find that it is more crippled than I. And what a great fucking line.
It's the best line in this episode.
A sensational comeback. When Aemon tells Aegon the plan, Aegon's like, what? Why that? A pathetic prize. And Aemon just really showing why he would be the better fit for the crown. And it doesn't help that Aegon fucking belittled Aemon in the brothel scene from last episode. I'm pretty sure Aemon is still pissed.
Oh, yeah.
He is most definitely still angry about that, to basically be stripped down like that by his brother. So he decides to strip his brother down in front of his council, make him look like a bloody fool, and he succeeds spectacularly. It's what a splendid fucking comeback. The way he stops Aegon from just getting them nowhere, right? Just to still just be a baby. The way he makes him stop is he talks to him in High Valyrian. And what I love is that it is so Targaryens, scholars, right? Like there are very few people can speak the language, right? And it's also how a Targaryen speaks to their dragon, I believe. Aemon says it so easily. It's just second nature to him. When he's talking to Aegon, honestly, I would not be surprised if Aegon didn't really if 80% of it, swoosh. When Aemon's like, the reason why you weren't counseled or where you were told of our plans is because you had other important things to do. One of them being, I forget the exact term that was used, but basically it was Aegon thinking up of a title for himself.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea what that word is.
I'm curious. How do you say that?
You're talking to the wrong person.
Sobriquet.
Wow.
Sobriquet.
What's with the T at the end of that?
Yeah. So,
I'm gonna put the word on screen right now. This is the word.
Yeah,
I don't know why there's a
sobriquet.
T at the end of it.
Sobriquet. It harkens back to what Corlys said to Daemon, how we are the second sons who we were not given our accomplishments or anything like that. We were not given anything. We had to earn it. We had to fight for it. It's just kind of showing with Aegon and Aemon that Aegon, really the best thing for him to do is literally nothing.
Yeah. This correlates well into another scene with Aegon and his conversation with his mother. Yeah. Now, we had talked a little bit about this during our rewatch of the episode, and I kind of brought up an interesting correlation between Alicent being a mother in this scene and another character in Game of Thrones being a mother. I think in this situation, Cersei actually parented her child better than Alicent in this scene. Now, to be fair to Alicent, she's drunk. She's been drinking. Aegon comes into the room and to either just vent or do whatever. And his mom's there and she's looking through the history books and she's drunk all the wine. She is obviously wasted. And she continues to do the thing that she's been doing this entire season. It was just be a bad mom. And give her son some very tough love, but also unnecessarily tough love. Because Aegon in this scene...
Not even love,
because Aegon complains to his mom and he says, the council doesn't trust me. They don't want to hear my thoughts. And Alicent, everything she says is right. Because she tells him that, dude, you have no experience. Why should they trust you? You should be trusting us. We have the experience. Let us do our job. And... he, again, for the second time this season, opens up to her. Is like, what should I do, mother? Very specifically telling her, I need a mom. I want guidance. I'm coming to you for guidance. If anything, I'm doing what you asked. What should I do?
Yes.
I'm asking. And she tells him in a very blunt way.
And very demeaning, by the way.
Very demeaning.
It's actually it was absolutely the worst thing she could have said in that very moment.
Yep.
And it was nothing.
Do nothing. Which is, in this situation, I agree with you. The worst thing that you could have said to him.
Yes.
And as a comparison, there is a scene with Joffrey and Cersei where Joffrey is not necessarily going to his mom for advice, but she is parenting him. She is telling him, a king must not act a certain way because he must take things into consideration. And she's parenting him in a pretty good way. Now, I do think that Joffrey is far worse than Aegon. Because at least in this situation, Aegon is at least asking for advice. Joffrey never asked for advice. He just is a bratty kid who took all of his inheritance and just spoiled it in the worst way possible. But at least in this scene, Aegon's asking for advice.
And again, Aegon never wanted this in the first place.
Agreed.
It was just kind of forced upon him. And he only really agreed to do it when he saw people really liked him, And he's like, oh, wow, like, they want me to do this. Okay, yeah, I'm in for it.
Yeah.
And then for him to then be told weeks later, do nothing.
Yeah.
For that is all you are.
Yeah.
Essentially, because her saying do nothing might as well also be like, you are nothing. You bring no value.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so demeaning for him. Because, again, if she had just changed the verbiage a little bit, instead of saying do nothing, if she had just said learn, grow into the role.
Yes.
Right? Something like that. I bet Aegon actually might have taken that to heart. And maybe it wouldn't be like a drastic change. But I don't think he would have gone out and get himself fucked over.
Nope.
But let's move on to really what you want to talk about.
Finally, the Battle of Rook's Rest.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I think the first half of this episode is, it's got some good scenes, it's got some mess scenes, but the rest of the episode, the second half, pretty great.
I love Rhaenys and Aegon before going into battle. Their little interactions with their dragons.
Oh, it's adorable.
It's
I love
fantastic. Again, seeing Sunfire be the only creature on this fucking planet that unconditionally loves Aegon.
Yes.
Makes me. I was so like it was like for the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, good for Aegon. At least someone loves him.
Yeah.
And then the second time I watched it, I was like, oh.
You poor child.
Oh, poor both of them.
Like freaking like Sunfire like walks up to Aegon and just kind of nuzzles him a little bit, which means like obviously they formed like a bond. And
Yes.
Aegon is smiling with pure joy.
No, seriously, like Aegon, like when I saw that, it was like that was genuine joy.
Yes.
Like even when his own mom says like do nothing, because essentially you are nothing to her and everyone. But the sight of his dragon fucking warms his heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, the unadulterated joy on his face. I was. It's such a small thing, I know, but that was awesome.
Yep.
That was great. It's just those small little things that make me appreciate the acting so much.
It starts with Kristen Cole advancing his troops on the very, very weakly defended Rook's Rest. And we see in the distance, as the troops advance, we see a big old dragon. It's Rhaenys, the lovely grandma, and her lovely dragon advancing on the troops.
Yep.
And we see that Kristen Cole notices this, shoots some arrows in the air, and we see that he is planning to draw out one of Rhaenyra's dragons so Vhagar can have a big Chomp Chungus moment. Aemon sees Aegon flying right above him into battle, and he's like, you
calls him an idiot in High Valyrian.
You freaking idiot. But he also
sees an opportunity.
Sees an opportunity. He realized this moment. He says, hold on, Vhagar, just give it a second. And Vhagar just kind of puts her head back down and just like breathe. I think it's adorable the way Vhagar does it.
Still looks terrifying.
It's a dragon. It's of course it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like yes, master, and like puts her head down.
Sunfire is adorable,
but
Vhagar is not.
Vhagar
bit a dragon in half.
Yeah, but it's also adorable.
Nope.
It's adorable.
Anyways, moving on.
Grand Mondragon. Anyway, they're obviously very experienced writers.
Mm-hmm.
Sunfire has never seen war. But we have a drunk Aegon who's very prideful and very arrogant. And then I do like at the very, very least, Aegon sees the destruction that Meleys is causing to Kristen Cole's army, and he still says, forward, Sunfire, faster. Let's go fight. And at the very least, that shows bravery on Aegon's part. I do appreciate that. It's dumbfounded because he gets wrecked immediately.
Yeah. So then Aemon shows up.
Finally.
And he says, fuck it. And says Dracarys and has Vhagar just breathe fire on both of them. Aegon gets... And Sunfire. But Aegon gets fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
They fall to the ground. Cole's like, oh, shit. Your Grace, I must save him.
Exactly like that, by the way.
And then I get knocked out by wind pressure from falling dragon.
Big Chungus.
But Meleys and Vhagar, their fight.
Ooh.
Fucking cool. Fucking
Great.
stellar. I kind of wish I got a bit more, but I get it. It's probably very expensive to have their CG dragons fucking breathe fire at each other.
It's probably pretty expensive. I do very much like that Rhaenys was almost fleeing in a sense, but she
Oh, yes.
stops for a second and then she says a very chilling line in the grand scheme of things. And it warms my heart because it shows the bravery of Rhaenys.
Yeah.
And just shows that, you know what, I don't have a chance. I don't really have a chance against Vhagar, but I have to try. And
Yeah.
she just says, attack Meleys in High Valyrian. And they turn around and it's like, ooh, goosebumps.
No, she's super badass. I love it. Obviously, you know, like, I think in her mentality also, it's like, really, did I really accomplish much by beating Aegon and Sunfire?
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah.
Because sure, could you argue that, like, well, morale would be down? They're like, nah, but then the kingdom will get an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Aemon and Vhagar.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's the real threat.
That's very true, actually.
Like, with Aemon and Vhagar still around, that's the biggest threat. That's the only reason why the Greens have a chance of winning. The only thing I kind of wonder about Cole's plan, do you think he considered at all, what if Rhaenyra sends, like, 3 dragons? 95% sure that Rhaenyra would only send the 1 dragon because I'm hiding the fact I have Vhagar, which I get that. I always understood that. But it's always that, like, that 5% shot of, well, what if there are 2 dragons? And God forbid, what if there are 3? Well, could you imagine you just see Rhaenyra's dragon, Caraxes, and Meleys, and Cole's like, errors have been made.
We're not winning this fight.
I need to run.
Uh-huh.
Let's get into the forest. Oh, they're burning the forest down. I am trapped. I may die. I am dead.
I think that, actually, now that I'm considering this,
Yeah.
I think that near the end of the fight, when, unfortunately, Rhaenys dies, I think she was thinking of one of 2 things. One, maybe I should have gone with Daemon to kill Vhagar in the first place because I think those 2 dragons would have had a pretty good chance of killing Vhagar. And 2, maybe I should have roasted these guys in
At the
first
coronation
season when I had a chance to do so.
No, I doubt that's what she was thinking.
No, that's not what she was thinking.
But that
That's
would
what
be
I
funny.
was thinking.
Yeah. Oh, because the scene prior when, like, before, like, Vhagar fucking clenches it, like, just shuts his maul on Meleys's neck. When, like, they're flying away and they make eye contact, you can tell, like, Meleys is like, I'm fucking tired. You okay, Mom? And she's like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Let's go home. They didn't make it home.
Meleys gives Rhaenys one last look before she
Yes.
dies.
Yes.
Like, Vhagar's clenching and burning that throat, and Meleys just gives his mom her mom one last look. And it's so sad because this one little look shows us so much emotion and connection with this dragon and the dragon rider. And you just feel so sad for them in the moment because she died in an honorable, awesome way. She could have left, but she turns around and says, you know what, I'm going to go out the warrior route. I'm going to go out the dragon rider route. And then Vhagar, being the king of jump scares, just jumps out of the middle, which, by the way, like, you brought this up.
I did.
It's amazing that this big Chungus dragon has his stealth upgraded to max level.
Bruh, no, for any D&D nerds out there, dude, Vhagar is literally, he must be a level 20 rogue, okay? And for those who don't know, like, level 20 rogues, I mean, really it's just a level 11 rogues, but, like, you just, anytime you roll the D20, you just can't be found. Bow, you shits! Your king is back on his throne! Get the breastplate, Stretcher! Other Game of Thrones quotes. Anyways, guys, please like and subscribe. I need to make money. What's the bigger number? I've won. One fan base, a united fan base, led by one podcast. I don't know where I'm going with this. Have at me, you fucking knave.